Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Welcome to a story about vision, courage, and transformation. A story that began in a quiet suburban garage and went on to shape the digital age. This is not just the tale of a company that sells phones or computers. It is the journey of an idea that simplicity, design, and courage can change the world. This is the story of Apple Inc. It's the spring of 1976 in Los Altos, California. Two young men, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, are spending long nights tinkering with circuits, soldering wires, and sketching dreams. Jobs is just 21, charismatic and restless. He believes that technology should be beautiful, personal, and human. Wozniak, quiet and brilliant, can build anything from scratch, but he doesn't see himself as an entrepreneur. Jobs does. They have no office, no money, and barely any tools, just a garage behind Jobs' family home. But they have something the world doesn't: a vision, a belief that computers don't have to be cold machines for scientists. They can be friendly, helpful, even fun. And so they build their first product, Apple I, a simple motherboard with no monitor or keyboard, but enough power to run programs. Jobs walks into a local store called the Byte Shop and tells the owner confidently, "We'll sell you 50 computers at $500 each, delivered in 30 days. The problem? They don't even have parts. So Jobs sells his van. Wozniak sells his calculator. They borrow, beg, and convince suppliers to give them credit. In a few chaotic weeks, they build the computers by hand, one by one. When the 50th unit is delivered, Apple Computer is born. Jobs chooses the name Apple because it sounds friendly, comes before Atari in the phone book, and reflects his fruit-based diet at the time. On April 1, 1976, the company is officially registered on April Fool's Day. But this is no joke. This is the start of a movement. Soon, Wozniak designs Apple II, a complete computer with color, casing, and keyboard, unlike anything the world had seen. It's not just functional, it's beautiful. When Apple II launches at a computer expo, the crowd is stunned. Within a year, Apple's sales jump from thousands to millions. By 1980, Apple goes public. Over 300 employees become millionaires overnight. At 25, Jobs becomes a multimillionaire. But money isn't what drives him. It's the dream of building the perfect machine. That dream will push him to greatness and nearly destroy him. The 1980s. IBM dominates the computer world, massive, corporate, and untouchable. But Jobs sees Apple as the rebel in the story. IBM wants it all, he says. Apple is the only hope. He dreams of creating something entirely different, computers that think like people, not machines. When Jobs visits Xerox PARC, a secret research lab, he sees something extraordinary. A screen with icons, windows, and a small pointing device called a mouse. He realizes instantly, this is the future. He races back to Cupertino and tells his team, "Forget everything we've done. This is the way forward, not text commands, but images, colors, and motion." From that vision comes the Macintosh project. Jobs gathers a small, isolated group of engineers. He calls them artists, not employees. They work day and night under crushing deadlines. He demands perfection. He yells, he inspires, he frustrates. But he also ignites a fire that creates something truly revolutionary. By 1984, Apple is ready to reveal the Macintosh. To introduce it, Jobs hires Ridley Scott, director of Blade Runner, to make a 1-minute commercial for the Super Bowl. A woman runs through a gray dystopian world and smashes a giant screen showing Big Brother's face. The tagline: on January 24th, Apple Computer will introduce Macintosh. And you'll see why 1984 won't be like 1984. It airs only once, yet becomes one of the most iconic ads ever made. On launch day, Jobs pulls the Macintosh from its bag. It speaks. "Hello, I'm Macintosh. It's great to get out of that bag." The audience goes wild. People cry. It feels like witnessing the future. The first few months are glorious, 70,000 units sold. But then the problems surface. The Mac is too expensive. It's slow, has little memory, and often crashes. Businesses stick with IBM and Microsoft. Inside Apple, chaos brews. Jobs' intensity turns destructive. He clashes with the CEO he hired, John Sculley, the former Pepsi executive. Sculley wants structure and profits. Jobs wants magic and revolution. In meetings, Jobs screams at engineers, rewrites plans, and breaks deadlines. By 1985, Apple's board has had enough. Sculley must choose Steve Jobs or the company. He chooses the company. Jobs is forced out of Apple, the company he created. He's just 30 years old. In a later interview, Jobs says, "Getting fired from Apple was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. It freed me to enter one of the most creative periods of my life." But at that moment, he's heartbroken. Without him, Apple begins to fade. Products multiply. Vision disappears. By the mid-1990s, the once revolutionary company is nearly bankrupt. But destiny isn't finished with Steve Jobs. After leaving Apple, Jobs founds NeXT Inc., building advanced computers for education and research. They're expensive but beautifully designed. Though the hardware fails commercially, the software NeXT Step is years ahead of its time. Meanwhile, Jobs buys Pixar from George Lucas for $5 million. He turns it into a storytelling powerhouse, producing Toy Story, the first fully computer-animated film. Back at Apple, the company is lost. Too many products, too little innovation. By 1996, it's losing $1 billion a year. The stock price falls under $7. Apple, once a symbol of creativity, is a dying brand. Desperate for a new operating system, Apple buys NeXT and with it brings Steve Jobs back. When Jobs returns, he doesn't smile. He looks around the company and says, "This place is a mess." There are dozens of overlapping computers, Performa, Quadra, PowerBook, Newton. Jobs grabs a marker and draws a simple square grid on a whiteboard. Consumer, professional, desktop, portable. 4 boxes, 4 products, everything else gone. That moment saves Apple. Next, he hires Jony Ive, a quiet British designer, and together they design the iMac, a computer that looks like candy. Colorful, round, friendly, transparent. Unlike anything on the market. When it launches in 1998, it sells 800,000 units in 5 months. It saves the company. Apple rebrands, simpler, cleaner, confident. The rainbow logo turns silver. The boxes become white. The story becomes emotional. Between 1997 and 2000, Apple's stock price multiplies tenfold. The message is clear. Design is not decoration, it's destiny. But Apple's comeback is just beginning. The next chapter will change how the world listens, works, and lives. It's 2001. The digital music scene is chaos. People pirate songs, use clunky MP3 players, and burn CDs. Jobs sees the future clearly. Music is a part of everyone's life, he says, but technology makes it frustrating. Let's make it simple. In October 2001, Apple releases the iPod. A small, elegant white device with a click wheel, 5 GB storage, and a tagline that says it all. 1,000 songs in your pocket. It isn't just a product, it's a feeling. Freedom, movement, rhythm. The marketing is revolutionary, bright silhouettes dancing against colorful backgrounds, white earbuds glowing. No words, just music and emotion. By 2004, Apple sells 8 million iPods a year. By 2006, 88 million in total. Revenue quadruples. Apple stores open around the world clean, quiet, and minimalist. They don't feel like tech shops. They feel like temples. Apple isn't just back. Apple is cool again. Then comes the next leap, the one that rewrites history. 2005. Apple is booming, but Jobs is unsatisfied. He looks at the phones people are using: Nokia, Motorola, BlackBerry. He hates them. These phones are stupid, he says. We can do better. Apple teams up with Motorola for a music phone, the ROKR. It fails miserably. So Jobs gathers a small secret team and tells them, "We're going to build a phone, but not just a phone, a device that reinvents the entire industry." They work in a hidden building called the Purple Dorm. No weekends, no distractions. Months turn to years. Finally, it's ready. January 9th, 2007, San Francisco, Macworld Conference. Jobs walks on stage in his black turtleneck. Today, we are introducing 3 revolutionary products: a widescreen iPod with touch controls, a revolutionary mobile phone, and a breakthrough internet communicator. These are not 3 devices, they're one, and we call it iPhone. The crowd erupts. It's electric. The world has changed. The first iPhone launches in June 2007, $499 for 4 GB, sold out in hours. By year's end, 1.4 million units sold. Then 2008, Apple unveils the App Store. Now anyone can build and sell apps. 500 apps at launch. 1 billion downloads in the first year. Between 2006 and 2010, Apple's revenue jumps from $19 billion to $65 billion. Profit grows 7-fold. Apple becomes the most admired company on earth. But behind the applause, something darker stirs. Jobs is sick again. He battles pancreatic cancer silently, still working every day. He hides his pain behind the glow of the next big dream, a device between a laptop and a phone. Critics mock the idea, but Jobs believes in magic one more time. In January 2010, he walks on stage, thin and pale, holding a tablet. "This," he says softly, "is our most advanced technology in a magical, revolutionary device, the iPad." People laugh, it's just a big iPhone. Then they try it. 3 million sold in 80 days. 15 million in the first year. $9 billion in revenue in just 9 months. Once again, Apple creates a new category and everyone else follows. Even in his final years, Jobs controls every detail, from the curve of icons to the sound of the startup chime. "Design is not what it looks like," he says. "Design is how it works." By 2011, Apple earns $108 billion in revenue. Its market value hits $350 billion, the most valuable company on earth. But time is running out. On August 24, 2011, Jobs resigns as CEO, handing the reins to Tim Cook, his trusted operations expert. 2 months later, on October 5th, Steve Jobs passes away at 56. The world mourns. Candles flicker outside Apple stores. World leaders, CEOs, and millions of fans pay tribute. Barack Obama calls him a visionary who changed the world. Bill Gates says his impact will be felt for generations. Steve Jobs once said, "The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do." And he proved it. When Tim Cook takes over, many doubt him. He isn't loud or dramatic, but he is steady, disciplined, and quietly brilliant. He doesn't try to imitate Jobs. He follows the blueprint Jobs left behind and adds his own precision. Under Cook, Apple launches Apple Watch in 2015. Critics call it unnecessary. By 2020, it becomes the world's best-selling watch. Apple removes the headphone jack in 2016. People laugh. Then come AirPods. Soon everyone wears them. By 2022, AirPods alone earned $15 billion, more than Spotify's entire revenue. In 2020, Apple reveals the Moon chip, designed in-house. It outperforms every laptop on Earth. Reviewers call it a revolution in performance. From 2011 to 2023, Apple's growth is staggering. Revenue from $108 billion to $383 billion. Profit from $25 billion to $97 billion. Market cap from $350 billion to over $3 trillion. Apple becomes the first company in history to reach that milestone. A company once 90 days from bankruptcy is now worth more than Tesla, Coca-Cola, Nike, Netflix, and McDonald's combined. Today, Apple isn't just a brand, it's a lifestyle. You wake up with your Apple Watch, check your iPhone, work on your MacBook, listen through AirPods, pay with Apple Pay, and store memories in iCloud. Apple is everywhere, quietly shaping your world. 1. Simplicity wins. Apple's greatest innovation isn't technology, it's clarity. People don't crave complexity, they crave ease. 2. Consistency creates trust. New products arrive like clockwork, polished, familiar, and dependable. Trust is built through reliability. 3. Emotion beats numbers. Apple sells feelings, not features. People remember how you make them feel. 4. Destroy what no longer serves you. Apple killed the iPod, the CD drive, even Intel chips to evolve. Growth means letting go. 5. Focus on few, master them deeply. While competitors make hundreds of devices, Apple perfects a handful. Do less, do it better. 6. Control the experience. From packaging to the Apple Store, everything feels intentional. That's not an accident, that's design. 7. Protect your brand like your soul. Apple never discounts its identity. Quality is its religion. 8. Start small, dream big, deliver boldly. A garage, 2 dreamers, no money, and now, $3 trillion later, the proof that vision is stronger than circumstance. Apple was never just a company. It was a belief that technology can have soul, that design can move hearts, that a handful of dreamers can reshape humanity's relationship with creativity. And to every listener, you don't need millions. You just need a mission. You don't need permission. You just need to start. Because in the end, the most powerful thing Apple ever created wasn't the iPhone, the Mac, or the watch. It was belief. Belief that one idea, born in a small garage, can change the entire world. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next one.